In 2025, AI has transformed how nations guard their borders. Governments say it makes immigration smarter, faster, and safer. But critics argue it automates discrimination, strips away human rights, and turns migration into a cold-coded calculation. So what's really going on behind these digital walls? In this documentary, we'll dive into the classified world of AI border patrol, from the deserts of Arizona to the shores of the Mediterranean, and explore how powerful machine learning systems are reshaping who gets in, who gets out, and who never even gets the chance to ask. The United States has long had one of the most militarized borders in the world. But now, the patrols are going invisible. Along the U.S.-Mexico border, Customs and Border Protection has quietly deployed a network of AI-equipped surveillance towers that use cameras, motion sensors, and thermal imaging to track human movement up to 7 miles away. These towers feed data into machine learning systems trained to detect suspicious behavior, patterns like walking too slowly, carrying a large bag, or moving in non-linear paths. The system alerts agents before the person is even seen in real life, but it doesn't stop there. In the sky, AI-guided drones patrol the desert, mapping terrain and tracking migrants in real time. On the ground, biometric scanners at checkpoints collect facial data, iris scans, and even gait analysis. In 2024, CBP confirmed it was experimenting with predictive profiling systems, algorithms that assign a risk score to individuals based on travel patterns, social media metadata, and prior immigration history. All of this is done in the name of efficiency and security. But there's one thing missing: transparency. Most of the software used in these systems is developed by private defense contractors, companies like Palantir, Anduril, and Elbit Systems. Their algorithms are proprietary. Their training data is secret. Their accountability is limited. And yet they're being used to decide the fate of real people: families, children, refugees fleeing war or economic collapse, based on cold, statistical likelihoods of risk. What happens when those systems get it wrong? Who answers? In Europe, a similar digital fortress is being built. Frontex, the EU's border and Coast Guard agency, has invested heavily in AI tools to manage migration from Africa and the Middle East. Satellites equipped with machine vision track boat routes in the Mediterranean. Facial recognition software scans asylum seekers at checkpoints in Greece and Italy. Risk assessment tools evaluate each migrant's security score, determining if they'll be allowed to enter or fast-tracked for deportation. In 2025, Frontex began testing AI tools to detect false stories in asylum interviews by analyzing speech patterns and micro-expressions. Critics call it pseudoscience, but it's already being used. Meanwhile, China, unsurprisingly, has taken AI border control to dystopian extremes. In the Xinjiang region, Uyghur Muslims are monitored by an all-encompassing digital surveillance network. Cameras with facial and emotion recognition are mounted on every street. Smartphone data is harvested and analyzed. Border crossings are tracked by AI models that score travelers based on loyalty, ideology, and religious behavior. People with low scores may be detained, or worse, without human intervention. While Beijing defends this as counterterrorism, human rights groups call it digital apartheid. But the technology is spreading. Countries like India, Israel, Hungary, and the UAE are all testing some form of AI-assisted immigration control. In 2025, Canada announced a pilot project using machine learning to screen refugee applications for fraud. Australia deployed drones with predictive heat mapping systems to patrol its northern waters. Even developing nations like Kenya and Indonesia are adopting biometric border tools funded by international security grants. The global race to automate borders is fully underway. What's driving this shift? At its core, it's a mix of fear, data, and politics. Governments want to appear tough on illegal immigration. AI offers a shiny, futuristic solution, one that promises to be cheaper, faster, and more accurate than humans. It can analyze thousands of documents in seconds. It never sleeps. It doesn't complain. And crucially, it doesn't ask moral questions. But that's exactly the problem, because when decisions about who gets to move, who gets to escape danger, reunite with family, or seek opportunity, are left to algorithms, the results can be dangerously inhuman. AI models are only as good as the data they're trained on. And that data often reflects biases, racial, geographic, economic, baked into historical systems. For example, if an algorithm learns that people from certain countries are statistically more likely to be denied entry, it may begin to reject those applicants more often, regardless of individual merit. That's not safety. That's automated prejudice. There's also the issue of consent. Most migrants don't know they're being scored, analyzed, or flagged by an algorithm. They don't know what criteria are being used, how their score is calculated, or how to appeal a false flag. In many cases, there's no appeal process at all. The decision is made in seconds, and the door is closed. Then there's the question of mission creep. What starts as a border security tool can quickly become a tool for mass surveillance. In the U.S., AI board tech is now being used up to 100 miles inland, an area that includes nearly 2/3 of the American population. Drones initially meant for border patrol are now flying over major cities. Databases built for immigration are quietly being accessed by law enforcement. The lines are blurring fast. Supporters argue that these tools make borders more efficient and less violent. They claim that AI reduces the need for physical confrontation, saves taxpayer money, and helps agents focus on high-risk cases. But without oversight, transparency, and ethical guidelines, these systems risk turning migration into a dystopian video game where real lives are decided by lines of code. So where do we go from here? Should we abandon AI at the border altogether? Or is there a way to use this technology responsibly? Some advocates propose international standards, a Geneva Convention for AI immigration systems. Others demand algorithmic transparency, open source code, explainable models, and clear appeals processes for those impacted. A few technologists suggest building human-in-the-loop systems where AI can assist, but never replace human decision-makers. But the clock is ticking. As global migration rises due to war, climate change, and inequality, governments will feel more pressure to automate their borders. The tools are getting cheaper. The software is getting smarter. The temptation is growing. But we must ask ourselves, at what cost? Borders may define nations, but how we manage them defines who we are. If we allow fear to drive our technology, if we trade humanity for efficiency, we risk building a world where movement is no longer a right, but a privilege granted by machines. You made it to the end, which means you are the kind of person who cares about how technology is changing the world. This is just one chapter in a much bigger story about AI, power, and control. So if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and share this video with someone who still thinks AI is just about robots and ChatGPT. Because the truth is, it's already at our borders.